Students, now let's move on to chapter 4 of Geography, Mineral Resources and Industrialization Part 2. In this part, we are going to cover the following topics, which includes distribution of minerals, industrialization, factors impacting establishment of industries, impact of the new industrial policy, major industrial regions of India, impact of industrialization. Our first topic is distribution of minerals. In this topic, we are going to know about different types of minerals. First is iron ore. Iron ore is used to manufacture crude iron and several types of steel. It would not be an overstatement to say that the iron is the basis of modern development. Iron's strength and hardness can be altered by mixing with other metals. Pure iron ore is never found in nature. In nature, iron ore is mixed with sulfur, phosphorus, aluminium, lime, magnesium, silica, titanium, etc. Iron is separated from this mixed ore by chemical process. You can see in the picture the iron mine. Based on the percentage of iron in the ore, iron ore can be divided into four types. Hematite contains 70% iron, magnetite contains 70.4% iron, limonite which contains 59.63% iron, and siderite contains 48.2% iron. The majority of deposits in India are hematite and magnetite. India has 1788 crore tons of estimated iron ore reserves as on April 1st, 2010. Hematite ore is chiefly found in the Peninsular Plateau. The major deposits of high quality hematite ore are in the Baladila region of Chhattisgarh, Bellary Hospet area in Karnataka, and Singhbhum Sundarban in Jharkhand, Odisha. Magnetite is found in Karnataka, Goa, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, and Jharkhand. The decision to locate steel plants in Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha was influenced by the rich and economically valuable iron ore deposits in these states. The high quality iron ore of Baladila is said to be the world's largest iron ore reserve. Other deposits are concentrated in Dantewada, Durg, Kanker, and Rajnathgaon. Manganese. Manganese is mixed with iron to produce steel, hence its major use is in the iron steel industry. Steel contains 12 to 14% manganese, so almost all the manganese that is mined is used to produce steel. Steel alloyed with manganese is stronger and harder. This steel is used to manufacture equipment such as crusher, which are used to break rocks into different size gravel. Other important uses of manganese are to manufacture glass, clay, utensils, plastics, floor tiles, glass, varnish, and dry cell batteries. India has 43 crore tons of estimated manganese reserves estimated as on April 1st, 2010. The maximum deposits are found in Odisha, Karnataka, and Madhya Pradesh. In Chhattisgarh, Bilaspur district has 516.66 million tons of high quality manganese reserves. Other deposits in the state are located in Mulmula, Semra, and Kolyatola. You can see the picture of manganese. Chromite ore. Chromite is the only ore of chromium. Like manganese, it is chiefly used as an alloy of iron in the iron steel industry. Steel alloyed with chromium is more heat resistant. Small quantities, 3% of chromium, also toughens steel and makes it suitable to manufacture files, axes, and hammers. Allowing slightly higher quantities, 12 to 15%, makes steel heat tolerant and friction and corrosion resistant. This steel is suitable for manufacturing kitchen utensils, cutlery, machine bearings, etc. If nickel is alloyed along with chromium, the steel is more resistant to abrasion by steam, water, humidity, and acids. Allowing tungsten, cobalt, and molybdenum along with chromium produces stellite, which strengthen steels. This alloy steel is used to make components of high-speed machines. Chromite is also used in high-temperature furnaces and in dyeing, leather, and textile industries. India has 20.3 crore tons of estimated chromium reserves. As on April 1st, 2010, the biggest deposits are found in the Sukinda Valley, Cuttack, and Janjpur district of Odisha. Next, let's discuss the problems in mining. First, mine workers are exposed to large dust clouds raised by mining operations, which makes them susceptible to lung disease. Second, the land in the mining area is left degraded when the leaseholder abandons the mine after mineral deposit is exhausted, endangering human and animal life. Children, adults, and animals suffer injuries and even die after falling into the mine shafts that could be several hundred feet deep. Third, mining alters the groundwater structure and drainage pattern of the area. So, apart from the land and forest, the rivers and streams are also affected. The debris after extracting minerals is dumped into the river valleys, obstructing the flow of rivers and causing floods that destroys the forests. Deposits of iron ore, deposits in Goa and Karnataka, bauxite in Chhattisgarh and Odisha, coal in Madhya Pradesh, and the open cast limestone mines in Uttarakhand are located mountain slopes or on river sources. Many minerals are found in river basin. 80% of coal found in Jharkhand and West Bengal's Raniganj are located in Damodar River Valley. The Mahanadi and Brahmani river valleys contain large coal deposits. Mica is found in Rajasthan, Sambar, Luni, and Chambal river valleys. Students, next you can see this map of India. You can see conventional energy resources in different places. We have coal fields, coal mines, oil fields, and major natural gas reserves and uranium deposits you can see in the map. Look at the next map. Important minerals. You can see minerals like bauxite, copper, manganese, iron ore field, iron ore mines, and the places through where we export these iron ores. So you can see in this map different minerals have shown here. Next mineral is tungsten. Tungsten is important in the modern metal industry for making alloy steel. It gives steel strength and hardness and enhances its abrasion and crash resistance. Tungsten alloyed steel is used to manufacture high quality cutting and stone drilling equipment. Tungsten, cobalt, and chromium mixed stellite is used to make armor plates, guns, armor piercing shells, etc. No alternative has yet been found to match the tungsten filament's ability to turn electricity into light. Tungsten deposits are found in Rajasthan, West Bengal, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Copper. Humans have been using copper since ancient times. Bronze was made by alloying copper with tin. Copper alloys were also used to make brass, which is used to mint coins, etc. After the invention of electricity in the 19th century, the importance of copper grew manifold. It is a good conductor of heat and electricity and is resistant to chemical erosion. Copper mixed alloys are used to manufacture telephone, radio, and rail equipment, refrigerators, and other household items. Airplanes and copper reserves are being explored in many parts of the country. India has an estimated 155 crore tons of copper reserves as on April 1st, 2010, but copper production is lower than the demand, so copper is imported. The largest copper deposits are found in Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan. Small deposits are also found in Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Sikkim, Meghalaya, Maharashtra, and West Bengal. 37% of India's copper deposits are in Jharkhand. The Malajkhand copper mines in Balaghat district of Madhya Pradesh are famed in India's ships as well as other war materials. You can see the picture of copper. Next mineral, lead. Lead is used in transport, communication, and electricity generation. It is heavy, soft, and malleable. It is largely used in storage batteries and electrical wires. The chemical industry is another important consumer, using lead to manufacture tetrathyl lead, colors, plastics, and insecticides. India has 1 crore tons of estimated lead reserves as on April 1st, 2010. Rajasthan has the largest lead deposits. Bauxite. Bauxite is the main source of aluminium. India has abundant reserve of bauxite. The Geological Survey of India estimated the bauxite reserve at 348 crore tons in 2010. About half these reserves are in Odisha. Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, and Maharashtra also have bauxite deposits. Large deposits are to be found in Kalahandi, Koraput, Sambalpur, Bolangir, and Keonjhar district of Odisha, Visakhapatnam district of Andhra Pradesh, Shahdol, Mandala, and Balagha districts of Madhya Pradesh, and Sarguja and Korba district of Chhattisgarh. Coal. Coal is the most important energy source in India. Initially, coal was used as fuel. It formed the base of industrialization in the 18th century. Its industrial use led to many significant changes. In the 18th century, it was used to smelt iron ore and produce steel. Steam engines powered by coal were used to pull trains, propel ships, and run machines. Today, coal is mainly used for electricity generation. The Geological Survey of India estimated in 2006 that the country had 23,500 crore tons of coal reserves up to a depth of 1200 meters. This is only 1% of world's total estimated coal reserve. The coal producing areas in India are located in the following four river basins in the eastern portion of the Deccan Plateau. First, Damodar Valley. Second, Son Valley. Third, Mahanadi Basin. Fourth, Godavari Basin. So these are the coal producing areas in India. Petroleum. Petroleum is the most important energy source in the modern world. It is also extensively used in the plastics and fertilizer industries. India produced 4 crore tons of petroleum in 2015. This was less than quarter of our total consumption. Hence, the country has to import large quantities of petroleum and petroleum products. In 2015, 19 crore tons of petroleum and petroleum products were imported. We have spent about 5% of our GDP on petroleum imports, which is a huge sum. Oil exploration in India began in 1866 when the first oil wells were drilled in the upper Assam basin. However, the first reserves were found only in 1890 at Digboi, where a refinery was set up in 1893. The Assam Import Company was set up in 1899. Subsequently, explorations were also undertaken in other locations. A reserve was discovered in Naharkatia in 1953. India's petroleum reserves are estimated at 1700 crore tons. This includes land and offshore reserves. The reserves are in four regions. First, Northeast region, that is Upper Assam Basin, Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. Second, Gujarat, Cambay Basin and Gujarat Plains. Third, Bombay High offshore areas. And fourth region is East Coast region, that is Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri basins. And you can see the picture, Digboi. This is India's oldest petroleum well and oil refinery plant. The next mineral is uranium and thorium. Both elements are the main source of atomic and nuclear power. Uranium sources are very limited in India. Hence, the mineral has to be imported. However, large reserves have been found in the Tummalpalle and Bhima river valleys in Karnataka in the past few years. Similarly, thorium has been found along the Kerala coast. Since thorium reserves are abundant, India is trying to produce more nuclear power using thorium. The government has full control over all sources of nuclear power, and these minerals can only be mined by public sector enterprises. Next topic is industrialization. Till about 200 years back, most people used to be employed in agriculture and maximum production used to come from agriculture. In the developed nations, today, most people work in industries and related services, and very few are part of the agricultural activities. In India, while 60% of the people are engaged in agriculture, Its contribution to GDP, gross domestic product, is just 18%. 26% is of the industries and 56% of the service sector. Industrial revolution began in England in the 18th century, and gradually the nature and industrial revolution began in England in the 18th century, and gradually the nature or industrial production began to change all across the world. This is called industrialization. Post-industrialization production process has been constantly changing. Now, let's discuss factors impacting establishment of industries. One of the features of modern industries is that they are extremely mobile and constantly keep changing their location. Many regions which got industrialized, where hundreds of factories were established and lakhs of laborers settled, are deserted today because the industries have migrated. In the year 1970, most important cities in India such as Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Indore, etc. had huge cloth mills, and in the year 1980 almost all of these closed down, and power looms that produced at a much faster rate came up in absolutely new locations. Similarly, in America, factories in areas which had huge car production facilities have closed. Today's industries are divided into small units and spread across the world. Transport resources were much less developed in the 18th and 19th century. Huge quantities of iron ore and coal were used to prepare small quantities of steel, so steel plants were set up near the mines so that raw materials need not be transported to far off places. Students, you can see in this picture part of Dantewada Visakhapatnam slurry line. Here the iron ore solution is made. So you can see in the picture. Our next topic is raw material. Industries are generally set up near sources of raw material so that expenses on transport can be reduced. If we buy rupees 100 worth of iron and raw cotton, you can guess which will be lighter. Iron, aluminium, bauxite, limestone, etc. are heavy ores. Establishing industries that use these ores far from the mining areas will greatly increase production cost, which is why these industries are set up near the source of raw material. Aluminium factory at Korba, steel plant in Bhilai, cement plant in Jamul near Durg are located close to mines that produce the raw material. However, the cost of transportation for cotton or cotton yarn is much less, therefore the factories are often far away from the raw material sources. Transport. Today production is done in many different parts. Production of different parts of a product are done in different places, quite often in locations across the globe, and then brought together and assembled in a location. This makes transportation an essential part of production. This is why, other than raw materials, transportation is also very important to decide the location of industries. Water, road, and rail modes of transport are all used to transport goods. They help transport raw materials to production facility and produced goods to the market. Our next topic is power or energy. Electric power to keep the machines in a factory going. Electricity is produced from coal, hydel power stations, wind, solar energy, nuclear energy, etc. Coal is a heavy material. Also, large amount of ash is produced when coal is burned in power plants to generate energy. The substitute for coal is diesel. Solar energy, hydel power, wind energy, energy from waste are some of the examples. Of these, the most cost-effective source is hydel energy, which is generated by water stored in dams, small and medium dams or hydel power stations on mountain slopes could be an alternative. States where electricity is continuously available have a higher chance of industrialization. Electricity has to be available round the clock for 24 hours a day in the factories. E-commerce. Students, this is an important topic. E-commerce. Till some time back, you could only have imagined that you can buy mobiles, watches, clothes, books, toys, etc. sitting at home. Today, it is a fact. You can order from your mobile or computer anything and pay through your ATM card or pay when the goods are delivered. This is what is called e-commerce. The increasing number of internet users in India has boosted e-commerce. As per a report, e-commerce market is increasing by 50% each year. On the other hand, e-commerce market in China is increasing by 18% and that of Japan by 11%. 75% of all those making purchase on the internet in India are in the age group of 15 to 34 years. Labor. Skilled and trained labor is needed to work in industries. One also needs skilled managers, secretaries, computer programmers, etc. Industrialization also mandates for a few people to think out of the box, make new discoveries, find solutions to problems, and think differently from the crowd. Developed countries have a large pool of skilled workers, but wage levels are high as the workers are organized and fight for their rights. They keep contractual staff, hire workforce through contractors, and outsource work. This helps companies save in labor costs. The situation is very different from developed countries. Next is capital. The most important need for industrialization is capital. To make available capital, many institutions need to be established. Share market, banks, insurance companies are some of the examples. These institutions help industrialists to access capital to set up factories. Private capital is invested solely for the purpose of earning profit. Such capital is invested only in places where profits can be maximized. Investment of private capital in textile mills in Mumbai had happened for the same reason. Development of backward regions, utilization of natural resources, and balanced development are factors that drive government investments. The steel plants at Bhilai is a case in point. Technology. The more modern the technology, the cheaper and easier it becomes to produce in larger quantities. Availability of modern technology has led to higher industrialization of developed countries, whereas the lack of development of modern technology has led to slower industrialization in developing countries. Making effort to find out about other countries using communication methods has become very vital and helps industrialization. For example, India's Hero company tied up with Honda company of Japan and produced Hero Honda motorcycle. Next topic is industrial policy. Establishment of industries is related to government policy too. If the industrial policy does not have liberal terms for industry, industrialists will not choose to set up industries in that country. Industrialists invest in countries where the policies are flexible, where government interference is minimum, and where basic facilities such as labor, electricity, and transport is organized. Let's move on to the next topic, impact of the new industrial policy. Three main policies have been made, which are as follows. Liberalization. Liberalization means making easy the rules and processes and reducing licenses and permits so that foreign companies set up factories in India using new technology. Privatization. Selling public enterprises to private players by the government is privatization. Globalization. As a result of the process of globalization since the 1980s and 1990s, not just capital but services, labor and resources began to freely move from one country to another. Now, let's know major industrial regions of India. One of the features of industrial development is that once few industries develop in a place, then many others get attracted to the same location. When a particular industry develops at a fast pace, keeping in mind the locally available resources, then that area is called an industrial region. We have various major industrial regions in India and they are as follow. First, Mumbai-Pune Industrial Region. Second, the Hooghly Industrial Region. Third, Bangalore-Tamil Nadu Industrial Region. Fourth, Gujarat Industrial Region. Fifth, Chota Nagpur Industrial Region. Sixth, Vishakhapatnam Guntur Industrial Region. Seventh, Gurgaon Delhi Meerut Industrial Region. And last is Kollam Tiruvananthapuram Industrial Region. Impact of industrialization. There are a number of advantages of industrialization. Development of industries leads to large scale production at very low costs. This makes goods available to consumers at very reasonable prices. Industrialization improves quality of life. Diverse consumer goods produced, which gives many choices to the consumers. Industrialization creates new opportunities for employment. Industrialization creates many modes of transport and facilitates import and export. Resources are utilized as a result of industrialization. Industrialization leads to foreign exchange inflow. Students, you can clearly see in this map DMIC, that means Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor. You can see the different locations which are interconnected with each other. This is Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor. Dear students, Thank you for watching.